Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. We are starting this episode off with some breaking news just down the pipe about maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, if that. Tom Brady put out on Twitter a video that he is retiring from the game that he loves so much. He mentioned in his video that, he's not going to do a long, drawn out retirement, emotional retirement, because that's you only get one time to do it, and he did that last year. So he kept it quick and simple, and he just thanked everybody, his family, his friends, all of his teammates, all of his competitors. He thanked all of the all of the people who helped him play this game he loved so much. Uh, and we talk about Tom Brady, and I've not been um I've not been quiet about my feelings on people calling him the GOAT. I don't think he is. Um, but I'm not going to get into that any of that right now, because what we're talking about here is about a guy who's who played 20 years, and in that 20 and in those 20 years, he had one losing season, which was this past one, and he still made the playoffs in that losing season. We're talking about a 15-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All Pro, a 7-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time AP MVP, the All Decades Hall of Fame team for the 2010s, uh, the 2009 AP Comeback Player of the Year, a 2-time AP Offensive Player of the Year, the just his 2-time Sporting News Offensive Player of the Year, 2007 Sporting News Player of the Year. Uh, I mean, he was an incredible. His stats were he won 251 games as quarterback. He lost 82. He threw for 89,214 yards, 649 touchdowns, 212 interceptions. That's a massive 3.5 to 1 type ratio. Um, Absolutely incredible. Um, just an incredible uh, um, story and year and career from him. It started off in 2001 when Drew Brees went down with an injury, and he took over, and he never gave it up, and he just stayed there, and he continued to just be absolutely fantastic and great. The first, I would say the first 5 years, 5, 6 years of his career, I think, he was, I think, probably average. I don't want to say average, but he probably wasn't a someone that you would consider to be an elite quarterback. In 2007, the perfect regular season, 16-0, he really, I think that's when he really became the elite of the elite. With him, and for so many years, the elites were, it was Manning and Brady and Breeze, and Roethlisberger would be in there. Russell Wilson would jump up there time from time. Aaron Rodgers was up in there. Philip Rivers would jump up in there every now and then, but he was always a part of that elite. It was always him, Manning, Rodgers, and Breeze. Those were the four horsemen of the of the apocalypse, I guess you could say. And he really just took it to a whole new level, and you got to give him credit for it. What else can you say? It is it is just an incredible player to be gone from this game, and I think it is such a such a incredible time to know that we saw him play. And somebody on Get Up just said, Diana Rossini just said, it feels kind of a sad feeling to know that this has happened. And I think I can understand that. Um, I believe that he is, and like when you think about it now, I'm looking at it now. When you put it on the stats, I gave you the stats for, um, those were his regular season stats. But when excuse me, but when this, just let me go back here real quick. Just Get Up is there's something on the screen. Because when you look at the playoffs, you add the playoffs into his, he has 649 regular season touchdowns. He's 88 playoffs. That is over 700 touchdowns, including playoff regular season playoffs included. 89,214 regular season yards, 13,400 playoff yards, over 100,000 yards total between playoffs and regular season for what he is thrown for. Truly, in an icon of the NFL and maybe in sports all general. Um, and I think for anybody who may have a doubt because of what happened last year, I think this year can be a lot. I think this year, well, here's what I'm saying. I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that you're crazy for having a doubt because listen, I think it's hard for these athletes sometimes to do this, and there was doubt about Gronk. Gronk, he had retired, and there's a lot of people saying that Gronk was going to come back in the middle of the season and things like that, and he never did come back. He never did come back. He stayed retired, and I think now with Tom Brady retiring, he may be retired for good. And Tom Brady may be retired for good. Um, yeah, this is this is an exceptional time to live in. We've got another guy, in Aaron Rodgers, who he's making a decision as well. Um, who knows if he'll retire, or if he'll stay, and then let's talk about being traded and everything like that. It's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But yeah, the breaking news with this story is that Tom Brady says that he is retiring once again. Um, so uh, all I can say is that Tom was a great quarterback, great player for this league. I am someone who doesn't believe that you you call an NFL player the greatest NFL player of all time, because you have to, just like basketball, just like hockey, just like baseball, you have to play both offense and defense. And as we know, it's a three-phase game. People who play offense don't play defense, and for the most part, there's some, like, obviously some some tighter skill players who would time from time do that. Troy Brown, Deion Sanders, and definitely when it comes to the special teams aspect of it, you don't see a lot of that as well. So I don't think you can call him the greatest NFL player of all time. And like I mentioned earlier, I don't think he is a I don't think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I think that belongs to Peyton Manning, but and maybe maybe one point in the future we'll revisit that conversation. But today is just a time to celebrate his career and all the things that he has done to make the NFL a whole lot better. So, to Tom Brady, congratulations. Um, you've been a model citizen and just a true um, true legend in the world of football and the world of sport. And uh, I think today you should be celebrated and you should be happy. You said you're gonna play the 45 and you did. So congratulations, Tom. And we'll get back to what we was gonna realistic what we had planned on doing for today's show in just a second. So let's get back to what we were going to do, and let's get back to it. Starting with the NBA All Star starters, they were announced last week on TNT as they usually are. So we look at the votes here, starting with the Western Conference front court. Front court, we have LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, and Zion Williamson, who was starting off. So um, they're going to be the starters. Um, the fans voted LeBron the most votes, so he once again will be one of the team captains. Um, and they're doing the things differently this year. They're going to do the schoolyard pick right there on the court. So I don't know how they're going to do that because the jerseys and everything like that, but it's okay. I find this doesn't have enough actual superstars to be making to be making it to the to the an all star. So it just keep it West Coast, East Coast, East West Conference. In the backcourt for the Western Conference, Stephen Curry and Luka Doncic, they both will make it. So that's good for them. The Western Conference All Star starters. Um, there we have it. So then we take a look at the Eastern Conference starters. For the Eastern Conference, Giannis Antetokounmpo was the leading vote getter, and so he would be the other team captain. Him, Kevin Durant, and Jason Tatum make up the Eastern Conference All-Star front court. The All-Star backcourt for the Eastern Conference is made up of Kyrie Irving and Donovan Mitchell. Um, it's it is a little bit of a downer, so to speak, that Kyrie Irving was voting as a starter. The players voted him first. The fans voted him first. The media had him fourth. So I think the media was actually doing more of the good, but because they had Donovan Mitchell one, Jalen Brown two, and Tyrese Halliburton three. So Kyrie Irving was fourth. So, but they didn't vote him down low enough to I guess when the players voted him one and the fans voted him one, it was probably gonna take them not to be getting any votes at all, really. to go ahead and get the and not be an all-star starter. And he probably would have made the game anyway as a backup. So, but I don't, just because of what everything that went down earlier this season with Kyrie, it is still kind of fresh in my mind. I know it's maybe fresh in a lot of other people's minds. So I'm not saying it's like this needs to be held over him for the rest of his career, but I did think that maybe you shouldn't um you shouldn't celebrate this guy because this is what this guy wants, and he doesn't, he wants to be celebrated and he wants to be other things. So the thing, but it is what it is. He's an all-star starter. So tomorrow night, probably on NBA TNT, the reserves will be announced for that game, and I think that they have some really hard choices to make when it comes to the All Star reserve for both the East and Western Conference. That's done by the coaches. Um, you get guys like Larry Markkinen, who has had a tremendous year in Utah, along with Domantas Sabonis as well in Sacramento. Um, and then you got Anthony Davis, who when he's on the court, he has played very well as well. So and I believe what they have to do is I believe it's just like the starters. They take two backcourt guys, three front court guys, and then they'll take um, two wild cards to make up the 12-man roster. Now, Adam Lefko actually had a good point last week. Why does it? The regular NBA roster has 15. Why wouldn't you have 15 All Stars instead of just 12? And I think that would be good, and it'd be the same thing. The other three guys who are going to be All Stars. They obviously wouldn't dress and wouldn't play. You know, you can have it like that, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, I think that the coaches have a lot of good guys. From there, you talking about the Eastern Conference, Tyrese Halliburton from Indiana has been playing well. Miles Turner in the front court for Indiana has been playing great as well. Pascal Siakam, Joel Embiid. You know, yeah, it is going to be a. Julius Randle came back up this year, right, for the Knicks. It's going to be a wow West type of thing to see who gets into the All Star game for the East and the Western Conference. So there you have it. The NBA All Star starters. We will obviously talk about the reserves next week. Well, let's see. Uh, yeah, I guess we'll do a show next week. Yeah, we'll do a show next week. I don't think we'll do a show the week after. Uh, well, we'll see. Yeah, maybe we'll do a show next week. I don't know. You know what? I think we won't do a show next week because there won't be anything else, and it'll be the week of the Super Bowl. So and we always do a thing right after the Super Bowl. Reaction on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/ at AJTRIP20. So there'll be a reaction there, and then I take the audio and I put it up Monday morning on here. So you'll be able to see that and hear that come next week. So that's what we do. No Wednesday game according to me. We'll wait till after the Super Bowl Sunday night to hear that. So and we'll talk about the reserves. Well, I guess we won't talk about the reserves actually, because that's gonna be focused on the Super Bowl. So yeah, whatever. While we're talking about the NBA, let's quickly go through the standings of the NBA. Take a look at the Eastern Conference first. The Celtics are on top with a 36-15 record. The Bucks are 2 with a 34-17 record. The 76ers are 3 with a 32-17 record. The Brooklyn Nets are 4 with a 31-19 record. The Cavaliers are 5 with a 31-22 record. The Heat is 6 with a 29-23 record. Those would be the teams that are guaranteed to make the playoffs. If the playoffs started today. Looking at the playing teams, the Knicks would be 7 with 27-25. The Hawks would be 8 with a 25-26 record. The Wizards with a 24-26 record and a 6-game winning streak would be ninth. And the Pacers would be in with a 24-28 record, even though they lost their last 3. The Bulls would be 11, 23-27. Raptors are 12th with a 23-29. The Magic are 13th with a 20-31 record. The Hornets are 14th with a 14-37 record, and the Pistons are 15th, bringing up the rear with a 13-39 record. And as we look ahead, look at the Western Conference, the Nuggets are the number 1 seed with a 35-16 record. The Grizzlies have a 32-18 record. The Kings are number 3 with a 28-21 record. The Clippers are 4th with a 29-25 record. The Warriors have jumped up to the 5th spot, even without um, Stephen Curry for a long time there. For not a long time, but a pretty good chunk of time. They've won 3 straight. They're 26-24, and the Mavericks are 27-25. And then the playing teams, the Suns with an identical 27-25 record would be, as I said, 7th. The Timberwolves are 8th with a 27-26 record. The Jazz are 9th with a 26-26 record. And the Pelicans have a 26-26 record. They are on a tremendous losing streak because Zion Williamson hasn't been playing. They lost 9 in a row. The Pelicans are just incredible. But if you do look at it though, from 4 down to 13, there's like a 4 game in the loss column thing that is just amazing. The Clippers are 7, will be 7.5 out of first, while the 13th, the Lakers are 11.5 out of first. So there's a 4-game split there. So anything can happen. Uh, the teams looking outside of the playoffs, the Thunder with 24-26 record. The Trailblazers identical 24-26 record. The Lakers are 24-28 record. The Spurs are 14-37, and the Rockets are 12-38. So there's a look at the standings for the NBA. Absolutely, see what happens as we're heading down, because we're just a couple weeks away from the NBA All Star game. I think that is on the 22nd, I believe, of February. So no, it's not. I didn't change the calendar. Excuse me. It is on the 19th of February. So didn't change my calendar. Apologize for that. But yeah, All Star games on the 19th of February. So another good thing we have going for us. So let's quickly talk about the Royal Rumble. I went 4-1 in my predictions, predicting Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair correctly. I was off on the pitch black match between LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. I thought that, who knows what I thought was going to happen in the pitch black match. I thought maybe they would give it to LA Knight because they wanted to maybe keep it up between Bray and Uncle Howdy, but whatever, and it was garbage, and it is what it is. But I thought it was a tremendous event. The Royal Rumbles were incredible. For Triple H's first time booking, I thought they were really good with the men's Royal Rumble and the ladies Royal Rumble. Both had um, I had them both at 4.25 star, just incredible. And I love the fact that the men's went first because they needed to do the angle in the main event match, and that was excellent. That was purely incredible. Um, just what they would go through and what they did, and everybody playing their part so well. And the thing that I think gets everybody is when Sami Zayn hits Roman Reigns with the chair in the back, and the beatdown starts from Jimmy, and the beatdown starts from Solo, and the beatdown starts from, with Roman, and they're looking at Jay, and Jay can't do it, and he just rolls out of the room, rolls out of the ring, and walks off. I mean, that's just the extra little layer to everything else that is so wonderful about this storyline. Is incredible. I will tell you one thing I am getting tired of is I'm getting tired of this thing that you know they are. Everybody's trying to get Sammy into the main event, and that's. I just don't think that's it. Um, I doubt that they are going to split the championship at this point in time. Um, because there's no really good way to do it. There is no really good way to do it other than doing the 2 night thing where Cody wrestles for one and then Sammy would wrestle for the other. But I don't think that's the case. I think it came out. It was leaked several months ago that the way they're looking at this is that it is Kevin Owens in January at the Royal Rumble. Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber in his hometown of Montreal, and then at that time for the WrestleMania, they had marked down from The Rock. Now The Rock has said allegedly that he is not in any shape to do a WrestleMania match. Fine. Um, if it, I think some of us are still hoping, myself included, that he can. And then the 2 night, if Roman Reigns is gonna wrestle 2 nights back to back, it's the Cody match, and then it's the Rock match. Not Sami Zayn. Sami and KO are going to go head to head against the Usos for the tag team titles. So, but but yes, I think that's the case, and I think fans who want Sammy to dethrone Roman, I think be you have to come to the grips with that. That's not happening. That's not happening. It just isn't. The match is with Cody, and I think for people like myself who would like Roman Reigns to get to 1,000 days as champion, and there's still a way to do that where you could do that, make him champion, and not make Cody look bad, make Cody look like Lex Luger in this situation. There's still ways to do that. Um, you can still give Cody his title after Roman Reigns hit 1,000 days. But I think you have to come to the grips with the fact that this is they may be doing this. They maybe are going to do um, have Cody win both the championships and him dethrone Roman at WrestleMania. And I think that is something that you just have to, if you're like me and Roman Reigns fan, wanting to get to 1,000 days, something that you just have to accept at this point. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But this was a great Royal Rumble Premier Live event. I thought everything was great. The main event angle is just tremendous. It's maybe the best thing they've done in forever, ever, when it comes to storyline and emotion and bringing emotion out of you and everything like that. So, such good shit, as man would say. Such good shit. A couple of, I guess now what would be minor NFL notes. The Texans had hired D'Amico Ryans, the defensive coordinator of the 49ers, as their head coach, give him a 6-year deal. third black quarterbacks they've had in 3 years, but looks like they're gonna, keep this one at least 2 years, maybe even more because they gave him a 6-year deal. Sean Payton has been traded from the New Orleans Saints to the Broncos. He will be their new head coach for the Broncos, trying to get Russell Wilson back on track to where he was playing before he was traded to the Broncos. Compensation was, I think, like a 1 and a 3, one and a 4, something like that. And then I think the Saints also sent the Broncos another fourth round pick in 2024. So that was something there. And then of course, a weird thing happened where all of the AFC quarterbacks pulled out. Patrick Mahomes pulls out because he's playing in the Super Bowl. Josh Allen pulled out and Joe Burrow pulled out, meaning that the Pro Bowl starters, the Pro Bowl quarterbacks for the AFC are now Trevor Lawrence, um, who's the other one? Trevor Lawrence. I can't think of the other one, but the the weird one here that it's Tyler Huntley. The backup quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. Tyler Huntley is going to the Pro Bowl with two passing touchdowns, and he's going to the Pro Bowl. There is no wonder why they decided to get this game. Oh, Derek Carr of the Raiders. Yeah, he's the other one. Trevor Lawrence, Derek Carr, and Tyler Huntley. Wonderful. Jared Goff replaces Jalen Hurts as one of the Pro Bowl alternates for the NFC. So now let's talk about the games. The first game was the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles really kind of ransacked the 49ers because they just didn't have the quarterback. They just didn't have a Brock Purdy get injured very quickly in the first quarter, hurt his UCL. It has been deemed right now that he has a torn ACL, although he's going to get a second opinion about that. That may be what's wrong with my elbow. The elbows, I had a gout flare up, but it's still there's still some pain in there a little bit when I move. I can't do in certain places. So Um. Anyway, and they brought in Josh Johnson, the fourth quarterback, and then in the third quarter he got concussed, and then had to bring Brock Purdy back in, and they tried to do it running the ball, and this is something that I've said for forever. You know, for at least the last couple of years, I find it these coaches are ridiculous. Several years ago, they changed the rule of the game day actives. It went from 45 to 46, and the reason why they did that is because the teams had a third quarterback. It was usually he was usually inactive. He was usually designated as inactive. But he could be playing the game. But if he came in before the fourth quarter, the first and second string quarterback couldn't come back until the fourth quarter. Yeah, it's a weird and stupid rule. And so what they did was is that they said, okay, so instead of 45, we're gonna make it 46, and that 46 one should be could be used for the third quarterback, so that you don't have to you do so you do if you got two quarterbacks who get injured, who get knocked out, you can bring in that third guy, and if one of them is able to come back, you can bring him back in without having to, wait until the fourth quarter. But what these idiot coaches have done is that instead of doing that, they're now having that 46-man roster be there's another player, another other type of player, whether it's all offensive line or defensive line or receiver, running back, defensive back, whatever it is. They've used that. And if a team has a third quarterback, they still designate him inactive. That is, if they have a third quarterback on the roster, because there's a lot of fucking stupid teams who still only have two quarterbacks on their roster. And this is maybe one of the dumbest things in this sport. If you put three quarterbacks on your roster, if nothing else, I hope that what this has happened is that this is made to say we need three quarterbacks on our active roster, on our active game day roster of all time. Because look what happened. One injured his elbow. He shouldn't have come back in. The other guy got concussed. He had to come back in, and they couldn't even throw the ball. They just ran it. Just ran it. So, and it's stupid. It's one of the stupidest things in the world. That's my little rant. As for the game, it was just unfortunate. What happened to the 49ers, and then the defense just broke down all over the place, and there was just and it just wasn't that good for them. So yeah, just an unfortunate for the 49ers, a bit fortunate for the Eagles because they really didn't have any pushback, especially in the like middle second quarter on. There's no pushback from the 49ers. So, and so the Eagles easily made it into the Super Bowl. The second game was a little bit more competitive, the Bengals and the Chiefs. And I think just like how the Bengals had a chip on their shoulder the week before when the NFL announced that, they had sold 15,000 tickets, whatever it was, to the Mercedes Benz Dome down in Atlanta, where if the Bills and Chiefs had each won their games, that's where the AFC Championship game would be because of um, the Damar Hamlin tragic event that happened on the Monday night, which caused the Bills and the Bengals to have played one less game than everybody else. So, and with the Bills having beat the Chiefs, and having had one loss less than the Bengals, that's why they decided to do that. But as the Bengals had that on their chip on their shoulder, the Chiefs had a chip on their shoulder from analysts and the Cincinnati mayor and many others saying that that Arrowhead Stadium was Burrowhead Stadium, and how they and they felt kind of this and disrespected for them. So they played their butts off. So did the Bengals. They still had a chance to win. As we all know, Patrick Mahomes was playing with a high ankle sprain, and he was out there limping and lurching. But that last play of the game when he ran for the first down, and Joseph Asai pushed him in the back and caused a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness, which put the game, which put the Chiefs in field goal range for them to kick the field goal. I mean, it was just it's just adds to Mahomes' legacy, and I have to say I am one of those that is I'm one of those that is I have been talking my shit about you know Josh Allen being the best quarterback in the league, and I, I think that I think I had a truly active truly good argument for that for like the first for the towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year. I think I had a truly good argument that is what the case was. Josh Allen had become the best quarterback um, in the game. But he started to have some issues with interceptions, especially in the red zone and things like that. And that wasn't the case. And then Joe Burrow pops up and he has this long streak, and then you say, well, maybe the best quarterback is Joe Burrow and what he's done. But I think really when it just comes down to it, it's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback right now, and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and many others have the talent to be the best quarterback, but it's just right now. I think it's just Mahomes. I think it's just something that you have to be worried to see because he's since he became the full time starter, 5 AFC Championship games, 5. Not and all playoff games have been at home. He has not had not one game on the road. That is just amazing. Um, so hats off to him. Josh Allen is still probably my favorite player, my favorite NFL player. And I think that's what I have to say. I think I can say things that he is my favorite NFL player. I would take him over, Burrow and Chiefs if I was starting a team. But the best quarterback in this league is probably Patrick. It is not probably. It is Patrick Mahomes, and I think he proved it in the AFC Championship game where his Chiefs beat the Bengals 23-20. Looking ahead to the Super Bowl Sunday, February 12th. I think we have three things right here, right? The Eagles have started off to being a 2-point favorite. I don't know if it's going up or going down since they came out, but last time I saw it was a 2-point favorite. So I think here are the three things that is going to happen. One, can the Chiefs defense do do what it looked like the 49ers defense was going to do? Hold um, the Eagles offense down. Can they do that? If they can't do that, it's not a bad thing because it's all about the Chiefs offense. And then that comes to number two. Can the Chiefs offensive line hold down that Eagles pass rush and give Mahomes enough time to work his magic? We saw what happened in the Super Bowl against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now that was a different offensive line, but still, this is a pretty good team. And I think they have like 78 79 sacks. When you combine the regular season and the playoffs, these are 79 sacks. That is insane. That is an insane number for that team. So there's all about that. And then I think the third and final thing is obviously it is turnovers. Who is that's always one of the big stats about winning teams. Who doesn't turn the ball over? If there are multiple turnovers by those teams, it may not make a difference other two the other two keys. It may be the team who turns the ball over the most will lose the game. So I think you have it right there. Is that can the Chiefs defense stop the Philly offense? Can the Chiefs offense you know protect Patrick Mahomes to keep up with that Philadelphia offense? And you know, can both teams, one or both teams, keep the turnovers down at all to where they don't turn the ball over or it's to a minimum or anything like that. So my prediction, I said last week I'm not going to go against Joe Burrow. This week I'm not going to go against Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to say the Chiefs beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. All right, that's going to be it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Once again, we end this podcast by talking about the great Tom Brady, who has announced his retirement. Very interesting. He announced his retirement last year on February 1st, and he's done it again this year. This time he says it's for good. Um, so can only say thank you for the memories, Tom. You was a tremendous player, and can't wait to see what you do next. He's got a contract waiting for him at Fox. I don't know if he immediately goes there or not, but it'll be some really interesting to see what goes down. Push. All right, guys. If you guys liked what you heard here today, please make sure you go to uh, patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Because once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you will hear on my other podcast, The Word According to Me, what you will see on my YouTube channel, again, youtube.com/@AJTRIP20, and what video games you'd like for me to play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ATriplet20. If I don't have the game, you either have to buy it for me or choose from the games that I already do have. Or you can go to anchor.fm/Under Show. There we have 3 tiers where which you can subscribe, 99¢, $4.99, and $9.99. Or if you can't do it monetarily, you can just make sure to go to uh, wherever you're listening to this podcast at, rate the podcast and share this podcast on all of your social medias. Let your friends and family know what you're listening to and why you like it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode. Next episode again, as I talked through it earlier, next episode again will be um, February 13th. Well, yeah, February 13th, the day after the Super Bowl. Make sure you check it out, or you can go to my YouTube channel and watch it live. After that, it'll probably be 10 to 15 minutes after the Super Bowl, and where I'll jump on and we'll talk about Super Bowl and the commercials and everything like that. All right, guys. Thanks you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJ Trip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there, and I am out.